Welcome back, students. Let's continue with our chapter atoms and molecules. And in that, the next topic which we are going to see here is the molecules. So, what is a molecule? So, molecule in general, we can say that it is a group of two or more atoms that are chemically bonded together. Okay, that is what this word chemically bonded means, that they are tightly held together by attractive forces here. Okay. So according to this, we can define a molecule can be defined as the smallest particle of an element or a compound that is capable of an independent existence and shows all the properties of that particular substance. Okay, so how we can define the molecules here? Molecules can be defined as a smallest particle of the particle of element or a compound which is capable of independent existence, its independent existence in nature, and possesses all the properties of that substance, and is called as molecule. Okay, so for example, let's take an example for an element A. So due to the um, inability to attain the octet, okay, due to the inability to attain the octet, what will happen? This element A will not be able to exist independently in the nature. Okay, its independent existent will not be possible out because here the octet is not completed here. Okay, octet is not completed here. So in order to exist independently, what this atom has to do? This atom A has to become or has to form a group of atoms. Either it can form a group of atoms such as A plus B to form a group of atom, that is two group of atom, and can be form such a entity or such a substance which is capable of their independence existence. Okay, which is capable of independent existence. So this particular compound or this particular grouping of the elements which are formed. So here groupings can be of like two types. Okay, where one A can combine with another A to form a group like this. Okay, a group like this here it can also form, or in other words we can say that here they can form a group of same elements with each other. Okay, like this here, A2, which is also capable of independent existence, or they can combine with other elements to form a group of two or more substances in order to ensure their independent existence in the nature. So this is only the molecules. This is also a molecule. This is also a molecule. So according to this rule only, we can classify the molecules into two parts. We can classify the molecules into two groups. That is, one, molecules of elements. And the other one will be the molecules of compounds. Okay, so now let's briefly have a discussion on this molecules of elements and molecules of compounds. So molecules of elements and molecules of compounds, it can be briefly described as Number one, here the molecules of elements are constituted by the same types of atoms. Okay, here we will see that the atoms which are present here in the molecules of atoms, in the molecules of elements, they are of same types, such as one hydrogen is combining with other hydrogen atom to form a H2 molecule, that is dihydrogen molecule. Similarly, oxygen combines with other oxygen atom to form O2, that is dioxygen. Okay, like this nitrogen combines with other atom of nitrogen to form N2 molecule. Cl combines with other Cl to form Cl2 molecule. Okay, so like this, here the molecules which are formed, here they are containing the same types of atoms. It can be either two or more, for example, P4, S8. These are some of the examples where more than two number of atoms are combined with each other to form a single entity which is capable of having an independent existence. Okay, so this type of molecules which are formed, they are termed as the molecules of elements or elemental molecules. We can also call them as elemental molecules. Okay, here we can discuss about the atomicity of such molecules. Okay, so for atomicity, what is atomicity? The atomicity, the number of atoms. Okay, the atomicity is the number of atoms constituting a molecule is known as its atomicity. For example, if here I am talking about hydrogen, dihydrogen, so the hydrogen's atomicity here it will be 2, because two atoms of hydrogen are combining together to form this molecule. So hence the atomicity of hydrogen here it will be 2. For P4, the atomicity will be 4. Okay, because four atoms of phosphorus are combining together to form this P4, and hence the atomicity of phosphorus in this compound, or sorry, in this molecule is 4. So this is termed as what? This is termed as the atomicity, the number of atoms which are present in a molecule of that atom. It is termed as what? It is termed as atomicity. So metals and some other elements such as carbon do not have simple structure, but they consist in a very large and indefinite number of bonded atoms together, which are termed as what? They are termed as the allotropes. Okay, they will be termed as what? They will be termed as allotropes. In case of carbon, if you are talking, so in the case of carbon, the different allotropes for carbon which are present and which are containing a very large number of carbon atoms that are bonded together. So the examples can be such as the graphite, okay, then diamond, fullerene, Buckminster fullerene. So these are some of the examples where we will see that the compound, sorry, the elements are existence for their natural existence or for their independent existence are combining with each other of same kind, and they are forming different forms in a single state only. They all are the solid state only. They all are the solid state of carbon, but they are having different forms such as graphite, diamond, Buckminster fullerene, etc. Okay, so hence the independent existence or the molecules of elements can be of two types. That is, it can be either in the form of allotropes or either in the form of monoatomic, diatomic, or tetraatomic forms. Okay, next is the element of compounds. Sorry, molecules of compounds. Okay, so when two or more atoms of different elements. Okay, two or more atoms of different element joined together in a definite ratio, in a definite proportion to form a molecule, then it is termed as what? It is termed as compound. For example, H2O, CO2. Okay, like this many other examples are there which you are studying from the first chapter only. HCl, H2SO4. Okay, also you can take example for KNO3. Okay, so here we can see that potassium, nitrogen, and oxygens are combined together to form a compound here. H2SO4 here, sulfur, hydrogen, and oxygen are combined together to form a compound here. KMNO4. Okay, Like this, many of the other examples are there where we will see that different atoms of different elements, more than minimum two atoms are required out here, but they must be of different elements which are combined with each other, okay, which are combined with each other to form a compound. And that molecules which are formed here due to presence of different elements, they are termed as what? They are termed as the compounds, okay. And this molecule is termed as what? This molecule is termed as the molecule of compound. Next, the next topic which we are going to discuss here is an ion. What is an ion? So compounds composed of metals and non-metals. Generally, the compounds which are consisting of metals and non-metals contains charged species. Okay, so how many types of charged species can be there? Either a positive charged species, okay, and a negatively charged species. Two types of charged species can be there, either a positively charged species or a negatively charged species. And this negatively and positively charged species which are present generally in the compounds which are containing metals and non-metals, they are termed as ions. Okay, they are termed as ions. So ions may consist a single charged atom or a groups of atoms that have a net charge on them. So according to this, what we can say that an ion can consist only a single charge, okay, single atom which is possessing some charge, or a group of atom which is possessing some charges. Okay, so according to this, we can classify the ions into two, that is the monoatomic ions and polyatomic ions. Okay, if we are going to classify the ions here, we can classify the ions on different bases. The first basis is their charges. So on the basis of charges, the ions are classified as cations and anions. Cations means positively charged ions, and anions means negatively charged ions. Further, if I want to classify the ions on the basis of the number of atoms present there, then it can be considered as ions which are containing only single atoms, they will be termed as monoatomic ions, and ions which are containing molecules, okay, means a molecule is attaining a charge there, they will be termed as what? They will be termed as polyatomic ions. In polyatomic ions, you can take any of the examples, that is diatomic, triatomic, tetraatomic, pentatomic, okay, means two atoms, three atoms, four atoms, which can be taken out there, which are holding a charge with them, they will be termed as polyatomic ions. Okay, so for example, here if we are taking example for NaCl, so in NaCl, when we are going to talk about NaCl, there we will see that sodium is a metal. Sodium is a metal and chlorine is a non-metal. So these two have combined together to form a compound here, which is NaCl. That is a salt which you eat in your food. Okay. So how this NaCl has compound? Na and Cl are combined when Na has Na has converted to Na plus and Cl has converted to Cl minus. So what will happen? The positive and negative charge here, which are produced out here in the Na and Cl, in the sodium and chlorine here, it will attract each other towards each other to form a chemical bond there between them. Okay, which will held together them, and this attractive force is only termed as the chemical bond. And these ions which are formed, that is the sodium positive ion and the chloride negative ion, this will be termed as cation of sodium and anion of chloride, and they will generate, after combining with each other, they will produce a compound that is NaCl here. Okay, so this was for the ions. Let's discuss more about the ions. That the ions are combined with each other in a perfect ratio. Okay, they are combined with each other in a perfect ratio, and after combination we can write their chemical formulas. So let's see what are the rules or how we can write a chemical formula of a chemical compound. What is the rule or what is the way to write a chemical formula for a chemical compound? So first, we need to familiarize with the charges for some of the elements or some of the compounds, polyatomic ions, which are present there. Okay. So here in this table, you can see that different charges are given out for some of the elements, such as sodium. It is always having a +1 charge. Potassium, +1 charge. Silver, +1 charge. Copper, +1 charge. Magnesium, 2 plus charge. Calcium, 2 plus charge. Zinc, 2 plus charge. Iron, 2 plus charge. Fe, 2 plus. Cu, 2 plus charge. Aluminium, 3 plus. Iron, 3 plus. For non-metals ions, if I am talking about, then hydrogen, +1. Hydride, -1. Chloride, -1. Br -1, bromide. I -1, iodide. O2 -1. O2 -2. Okay, oxide. S minus 2, okay, N minus 3, nitrite. So these are some of the non-metallic elements which are holding the charges with them, and some of the polyatomic ions such as NH4 plus, ammonium, OH minus, hydroxide, NO3 minus, nitrate, HCO3 minus, hydrogen carbonate or bicarbonate, CO3 2 minus, carbonate, SO3 2 minus, sulfite, SO4 2 minus, sulfate, PO4 3 minus, phosphate. Okay, so these are some of the examples for the ions which can be used up there for making different kinds of compounds. Okay, now you have to by heart all this, because without by hearting their charges, you will not be able to form the compounds, and it is very necessary because this type of questions are very important, because it will increase your understanding with the different chemical compounds. So the method which I am going to tell you in the further class here, for that it is very necessary for you to by heart all this ions with their charges. Without that, it will not be possible for you to make the compounds, okay, to write the chemical formula for the compounds. Now let's discuss about the rules for making the chemical compounds. Okay, so the first rule which we are going to see here is that the combining power or capacity of an element is known as its valency. Okay, it is the valency according to which we are going to see what is the combining capacity or joining power of an atom or polyatomic species to combine with other atoms or group of atoms. Valency can be used to find out how the atoms of an element will combine with the other atom or atoms of elements. Okay, the valency of the atom of an element can be thought as hand or arms of that particular atoms. Okay, if 1 plus is there, means how many hands it is having? One hand or one arm it is possessing, which can be easily combined with other atom which is having same one hand in order to form a compound there. Okay, so as we know that human beings are having two arms, and while the octopus is having 8 arms, so if one octopus has to catch hold of few peoples in such a manner that all the 8 arms of the octopus and both arms of the humans are locked, how many humans do you think the octopus can hold? So here we can easily calculate that for each human, if 2 hands are required and octopus is having 8, so it means that 8 divided by 2, 4 persons can be held by a single octopus. Okay, so like that only, when combination, okay, combination of different two atoms will be taken out there with each other, so there the valencies will play a very important role. And for the valencies only, this particular table is been shown there, which I have shown you here at the down. Okay, now let's move further after the discussion of valency. Now let's see the rules for making or writing a chemical formula. So the first rule for writing a chemical formula, the valencies or charges of the ion must be balanced out there to form a chemical formula. Okay, if two atoms are combined with each other to form a compound, then both the atoms must satisfy each other valency, and if they are not satisfying each other valency, then that compound is not tangible or possible. Next, when a compound consists of a metal and non-metal, okay, means a compound in which we will see that a metal is there and a non-metal is there, then the name or symbol of the metal will be written first and then the number of the non-metal will come. For example, if I am writing sodium chloride, so there Na will be written first, then Cl will come, because Na is metal here and chlorine is a non-metal here. Similarly, if calcium oxide is to be written out, then we will write calcium first, then oxygen. Why? Because calcium is the metal here and oxygen is a non-metal here. Like that, if we are considering H2S, okay, for any compound which is containing a magnesium, such as magnesium or iron. So the iron or magnesium, they will be written first, and then then the non-metal space will be came out there. Okay, so this is the second rule. The third rule, in compounds, okay, in a compound which is formed with a polyatomic ion, the number of the polyatomic ion which are present in the compound, it is to be indicated by enclosing the formula of the ion in a bracket and writing the number of that ion outside that particular bracket. For example, magnesium hydroxide. In magnesium hydroxide, 2OH minus is been attached with Mg2 plus. So here, for representing the two ions of OH minus, that is hydroxide, we will make a bracket there on OH, and 2 will be represented in the out of this bracket. Okay, so these are some of the rules which we have to follow out for writing down a chemical formula. Now let's start making the chemical formulas. So formulas of simple compounds. How we can form the formulas of simple compounds? So the simplest compounds formula, which are generally termed as what? Which are generally termed as the binary compounds. Okay, the binary compounds formula can be easily made up by using their valencies. Okay, using their valencies, and this method is termed as criss-cross method or crossover method. Okay, so here, for example, if someone asks you to form the formula for hydrogen chloride, so hydrogen and chloride. Hydrogen. What is the valency for hydrogen? So when hydrogen is reacting with any other of the non-metals, then it is, as hydrogen is itself a non-metal. It is a gas itself. It is a non-metal. So when it is combining with any of the other non-metal, then it will be behaving as a electropositive element. So it means the charge for hydrogen here, it will be +1, and the charge for chlorine here, it will be -1. The valency of chlorine is -1. So on crossing over here, we will see that one chlorine can easily satisfy the one charge of hydrogen here. So hence, the chemical formula which will be formed out here, it will be HCl. Okay. Next, formula for hydrogen sulfide. When we are talking about hydrogen sulfide, so hydrogen +1 charge, sulfide, it is having -2 charge. So on seeing out here, on crossing over here, we will see that for satisfying the -2 charge of sulfide, 2 hydrogen atoms will be required out here. So hence, the atomicity of hydrogen in hydrogen sulfide will become 2, and the compound formula, the chemical formula of hydrogen sulfide will become H2S. Okay, H2S. Now, taking some more examples here. For example, we can take one more example, that is MgCl. Magnesium and chloride. So magnesium, the magnesium is having valency of +2, and chloride is having valency, chlorine is having valency of -1. So here on crossing over, we will see that as chlorine is having only -1 charge, so the atomicity of chlorine in the compound of magnesium will become 2 in order to satisfy the +2 charge of the magnesium. Okay, so hence the formula of the compound will become, for magnesium chloride, it will be MgCl2. Similarly, let's talk about the aluminium oxide. So here we know that aluminium, it is having how much charge? It is having +3 charge, and oxygen, it is having 2- charge. So on crossing over, we will see that to satisfy the oxygen's valency, if we are taking 2 aluminiums, then here it will be +3 charge here. 2 into +3, it will become +6. And if we are multiplying 3 with the oxygen, then 3 into -2, it will become -6 here. Okay, so hence we can see that both are satisfied here when we are multiplying 2 with aluminium here and 3 with the oxygen here. So hence the compound here which will be formed, it will be having the formula Al2O3. Al2O3 will be the formula which will be found out here for aluminium oxide. Similarly, for calcium oxide, calcium is having a valency of +2 and oxygen is having a valency of -2 here. So when we are going to cross over here, we will see that one atom of calcium is sufficient to satisfy the charge for the oxygen. So hence the compound which is formed out here, it will be CaO, that is calcium oxide. So here it is very necessary for us to remember the valencies of the elements in order to use this crisscross method to form the compounds. Okay. So for you, I am giving a task that at home, try to form and try to give the name of this compound which has been formed out here. Also, also try by yourself different of the elements. Okay, different of the elements combinations or compound combinations which has been shown out here in this particular NCERT book. Okay, and try to solve these questions. So for today's class, I'm ending the class here only. In the next class, we are going to discuss about the molecular mass, atomic mass concept, and then after that, we will discuss further about the mole concept, which is one of the important part of this chapter. So for today, I'm ending the class here only. And here in the page number 239, you can see some of the questions are given for making out the formula. So you can try it by yourself by using this method which I have taught you here in this case. So thank you. We will meet up in the next class.